Let's move on to the next sign. Number 3, they don't listen to you. When someone is genuinely invested in you, they listen actively. They remember details and show interest in your life. However, if you find repeated instances where your words seem to drift away without acknowledgement, this reveals a lack of genuine interest. According to the Stoics, listening is a virtue. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Chat less, listen more. Advised Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. Wasn't comfortable for me. I'm setting a boundary for my well-being, and I expect it to be respected. Pausing to recognize and assert your boundaries is crucial for maintaining self-respect and peace of mind. Listening isn't just a passive activity, it is an active form of respect and empathy. When you confide in someone, you are entrusting them with pieces of your life. If they consistently neglect to listen or recall important aspects of your conversations, they are inadvertently communicating that they don't value what you say. This can leave you feeling dismissed and undervalued. A true friend, someone who genuinely cares, will show patience, ask questions, and contribute thoughtfully to your conversation. So reflect on how well the people in your life listen to you. Are they present during your interactions, or are they simply waiting for their turn to speak? Let's take a brief pause to let that sink in. Alright, moving on to number 4, they lack consistency. Genuine care manifests through consistent actions. An intermittent presence or effort can indicate that their priorities lie elsewhere. Consistency builds trust, reliability, and deepens the bond over time. Consider this wisdom from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. People who care will be steadfast and reliable, showing up during both good and bad times. They won't be flaky or unpredictable. If you notice someone's actions being sporadic or only surface deep, it might be time to reevaluate their role in your life. Remember, consistent effort is a hallmark of true caring relationships. Taking a moment to reflect again. A brief pause. Let's dive into number 5. They undermine your achievement. Wasn't comfortable for me. I'm setting a boundary for my well-being, and I expect it to be respected. Pausing to recognize and assert your boundaries is crucial for maintaining self-respect and peace of mind. Let's move on to the next sign. Number 3, they don't listen to you. When someone is genuinely invested in you, they listen actively. They remember details and show interest in your life. However, if you find repeated instances where your words seem to drift away without acknowledgement, this reveals a lack of genuine interest. If they consistently neglect to listen or recall important aspects of your conversations, they are inadvertently communicating that they don't value what you say. This can leave you feeling dismissed and undervalued. A true friend, someone who genuinely cares, will show patience, ask questions, and contribute thoughtfully to your conversation. So reflect on how well the people in your life listen to you. Are they present during your interactions, or are they simply waiting for their turn to speak? Let's take a brief pause to let that sink in. Alright, moving on to number 4, they lack consistency. Genuine care manifests through consistent actions. An intermittent presence or effort can indicate that their priorities lie elsewhere. Consistency builds trust, reliability, and deepens the bond over time. Consider this wisdom from Epictetus. It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. People who care will be steadfast and reliable, showing up during both good and bad times. They won't be flaky or unpredictable. If you notice someone's actions being sporadic or only surface deep, it might be time to reevaluate their role in your life. Remember, consistent effort is a hallmark of true caring relationships. Taking a moment to reflect again. A brief pause. Let's dive into number 5. They undermine your achievement. True friends celebrate your successes, no matter how big or small. They stand by you without jealousy, offering genuine praise and encouragement. On the contrary, if someone belittles your achievements or makes you feel ashamed of your successes, this is a clear red flag. People who seek to downplay your accomplishments are often acting out of their own insecurities. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." A person content in themselves will find joy in your progress and achievements. Their support won't be conditional or self-serving. Now, take a deep breath and think about any individuals in your life who might fit this description. Moving on, number 6, they neglect to support you during difficult times. Genuine care is unmistakable during hardships. Those who truly care will stand by you, offering support and understanding when you need it the most. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Support during difficult times helps you remain resilient and hopeful. Take a moment to consider the people who have shown up for you during challenging moments. Do they offer their unwavering support, or do they disappear when you need them the most? Next, we have number 7, they lack empathy. Empathy is a cornerstone of genuine relationships. It allows us to feel and understand what others are experiencing. If someone continually shows a lack of empathy, they're demonstrating a deficiency in emotional investment in the relationship. Remember Epictetus's words, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." Someone who lacks empathy might downplay your feelings or offer little comfort during tough times. Reflect on the level of empathy demonstrated by the people around you. Does it meet the standard of care and understanding you deserve? Finally, number 8, they do not respect your growth. True friends and loved ones will encourage and promote your personal growth. They understand that everyone is on a unique journey and that growth is an essential part of life. Seneca emphasized, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." People who genuinely care will support your evolution, even if it means you outgrow certain aspects of your relationship. Consider if the people around you respect and support your journey of growth. Are they happy for your progress, or do they try to hold you back? In conclusion, recognizing these red flags is crucial for maintaining your peace and well-being. Authentic relationships come with mutual respect, consistency, empathy, and support. By identifying those who do not genuinely care, you can make room for more meaningful and fulfilling connections in your life. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need to hear these messages. Until next time, stay empowered and protect your peace. It seems as though my requirements are being disregarded. Pay close attention to how they perform. Apologies and adjustments will be made by those who care. Those who do not will either overlook it or double down on it. This is the next step in your action. Consider the areas in which you have allowed a boundary to be crossed. Keep a record of moments when someone challenged you beyond the boundaries of what you considered to be acceptable. So how did they respond when you brought it up to them? Did they explain their actions, or did they express genuine regret? 3. They don't celebrate your wins. It is a well-known fact that true partnerships are characterized by mutual respect rather than competition. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The individuals in our immediate environment have a direct impact on those thoughts. It's possible that someone who doesn't appreciate your victories is holding feelings of jealousy, indifference, or even insecurity. These feelings do not contribute to the development of a supportive relationship. But before we go into that, let's delve deeper. Why does it hurt when someone doesn't share in your success? Because celebrating is more than just acknowledging something. It's a way of connecting with an individual. When someone cheers you on, they are expressing that your pleasure is important to them. On the other hand, when they disregard your accomplishments, they are conveying to you, whether they are aware of it or not, that your happiness does not impact them. According to a quote attributed to Seneca, "It is the fault of another if he is ungrateful, however it is mine if I do not give." While it is possible that other people will fail to express thanks or share delight, our response is still under our power. This is the insight that is presented here. Celebrating the accomplishments of another person is an act of giving. In the context of relationships, it involves providing recognition, support, and encouragement. It says a lot about the emotional investment that someone has in your happiness when they are unable to have the courage to show their appreciation for your accomplishment. Consider an instance in which you were able to share an accomplishment that pleased you, such as receiving a promotion, finishing a significant assignment, or even something more personal, such as reaching a fitness goal. In what manner did they react? Did their faces light up with delight? Or did they dismiss it with a lukewarm, "That's nice"? Or even worse, did they flip the topic around to focus on themselves? Seneca brought to our attention the following advice: associate with people who are likely to improve you. This not only refers to individuals who encourage you to develop, but also those who cheer you on when you achieve success. Instead of surrounding yourself with people who remain silent or discreetly undercut your confidence, surround yourself with people who exclaim loudly when you achieve success. Consider the following scenario. Imagine that you have just accomplished something of great importance. You feel a radiating sense of pride and decide to share it with someone you can rely on. In response, they exhibit a lack of interest, or even a slight negative expression, something along the lines of, "Oh, that must be nice," or "I wish I had that kind of luck." Are you able to experience that? Now imagine for a moment that someone is bursting with joy for you and exclaiming, "That is absolutely incredible. You've put forth a lot of effort to achieve this." Who would you like to have cheering you on? The following is the next phase in this activity. Check in with the folks that are a part of your life. Who is it that actually rejoices over your attainments? Who is it that minimizes or disregards them? Begin to make a mental note of the trends that you notice. We are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them. Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by things." You may give yourself the power to choose relationships that support your joy by identifying these tendencies and putting them into practice. 4. They never apologize or take accountability. Take into consideration the dynamics that make up a healthy partnership. As a natural response, you should acknowledge the harm that was done to you and make amends when someone you care about hurts you, regardless of whether the hurt was deliberate or not. Seneca is credited with writing that every new beginning comes from the end of some other beginning. The act of apologizing is not limited to only expressing regret. Rather, it is a means of putting an end to harm and opening the way to understanding. On the other hand, when someone avoids responsibility, transfers blame, or brushes off their acts, they are making it abundantly apparent that their comfort is more important than your suffering. Even worse, they may try to deceive you into thinking that you are to blame for the pain you are experiencing in the first place. Stoic philosophy places a strong emphasis on the concept of accountability. You have power over your mind. You do not have control over external events, remarked Marcus Aurelius. Recognize this, and you will discover the strength you need. Accepting responsibility for one's conduct is a sign of inner strength, rather than a sign of weakness. When someone persistently refuses to apologize or acknowledge that they have made a mistake, what consequences do they face? The fact that their ego has been prioritized over the partnership is a cause for concern about the situation. A lack of regard for your feelings and an unwillingness to develop are at the root of this issue. Pride is not the only factor at play here. I would like to ask you this question. How many times have you found yourself apologizing for no reason other than to maintain peace, even when you were not in the wrong? Because of this relationship, there is an imbalance that occurs in which your emotional labor is exploited while theirs is left unaffected. The Stoics encourage us to concentrate on controllable aspects of our lives. Epictetus is credited with using the phrase, "It is not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." You have the freedom to choose how you react to someone's behavior, even while you cannot compel them to take responsibility for their actions. In point of fact, progress and accountability are inextricably linked to one another. One who chooses to remain in a state of stagnation is someone who refuses to admit their mistakes. In addition, relationships with people who are not moving forward will eventually prevent you from progressing. Recognizing the harm that was done, expressing genuine regret, and committing to making changes are the three components that make up a genuine apology. In the event that one of these is missing, absent you will be dealing with a phony apology or none at all. Furthermore, there is no basis for confidence in the absence of adequate accountability. This is the next step in your action. Think back to a moment when someone refused to accept responsibility for their actions. What kind of impact did that have on your connection with them? Are you less trusting as a result? Tell me about your experience in the comments section. I'd be very interested in hearing how you handled it. You deserve relationships founded on honesty, respect, and mutual trust. Number 5, they are always too busy for you. Let's take this and break it down. What's important to people is something they make time for. Consider your own life. You have most likely altered your schedule, stayed up late, or gone out of your way to fulfill the needs of someone important to you. While it's not always simple, the effort is well worth it. When someone values you, they demonstrate that value not only through words but also through deeds. On the other hand, when someone keeps you waiting, constantly cancels arrangements, or treats your time as an afterthought, they are demonstrating how little regard they have for your relationship. The concept of Stoicism encourages us to exercise discretion in determining where we choose to focus our energy. Seneca wrote, "Life, if well lived, is long. Do not squander your time on individuals who view it as something that can be discarded." Work demands, family obligations, and personal objectives all contribute to the frenetic nature of life. We've all been in that situation. However, Epictetus said, "Wealth does not consist in having great possessions, but in having few wants." When it comes to romantic partnerships, the wealth we seek is not monetary. Rather, it is the abundance of time, attention, and care that we provide. When someone is perpetually too busy for you, it's not about their schedule, it's about their priority. Have you ever tried to make plans with someone, but they kept making excuses? Have you ever been disappointed by people who cancel at the last minute, forget crucial dates, or act as if responding to a simple text is an insurmountable task? While everyone has busy seasons, when it becomes a pattern, it's not about being busy, it's about what they value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote serves as a potent reminder to acknowledge the things within your control. Their schedule may be crazy, but the choice to prioritize you is theirs. If they constantly choose everything else over your connection, it is evident that you are not their priority. Here is a significant question. What was the most recent instance where someone made an effort to make time for you? Their reason was not a lack of other things to do, but a desire to be with you. How did that make you feel? A person who continually makes excuses stands in stark contrast to this. Isn't the difference remarkable? If this resonates, take some time to assess the relationships in your life. Ask yourself, are you always the one to take initiative? Do you always make an effort to accommodate their timetable while your own schedule slips between the cracks? A relationship focused on one side is not sustainable, and you deserve more than being treated as an afterthought. Number 6, they gossip about you behind your back. Have you ever been subjected to a negative comment made by a third party concerning your character? Do you agree that it is painful? It is even more significant when it comes from someone you trust, such as a friend, coworker, or family member. The hurt goes beyond the words. It's the betrayal that causes the pain. It's the act of saying, I'm willing to harm your reputation to elevate myself or entertain others. Individuals who engage in gossip often rationalize their actions by saying, I was just venting, or it wasn't a big deal. However, rumor almost never is free of harm. It fosters uncertainty, mistrust, and division. What's worse, it makes maintaining the bond even more difficult. Seneca cautioned us, associate with people who are likely to enhance you. Gossip is corrosive. It is the opposite of improvement. Over time, it erodes trust, harms reputations, and exposes the true nature of the one spreading it. It's not idle chatter. If someone talks about you behind your back, it is a choice that shows a complete lack of loyalty and respect. It is a deliberate act of betrayal. Trust is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When someone is preoccupied with negative thoughts about you and feels the need to share them with others, it indicates where their true focus lies. They are not interested in knowing or supporting you. They are interested in tearing you down, either covertly or overtly. The Stoics would counsel us to rise beyond trivial drama. Epictetus once stated, keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. This principle is still relevant today. When someone spreads rumors about you, they are not encouraging your best. Instead, they drag you into a world of lies and negativity. If you find out someone is spreading rumors about you, step back and evaluate the situation. Does this individual bring worth into your life? Do they have a habit of putting others down behind their backs? It is time to think about putting some distance between yourself and the situation. The following step you should take is to conduct a review of your circle. Who is it in your life that you can put your complete faith in? Who among you has demonstrated a propensity to engage in gossip? Not only about another person, but also about themselves. It is important to keep in mind that if someone gossips about you, it is highly likely they are also spreading gossip about you. Number 7. They make everything about themselves. When you make an effort to share a victory with them, rather than rejoicing with you, they find a way to compare it to their own accomplishment. Alternatively, you might be going through a difficult time, and instead of offering assistance, they divert the topic to complain about their own irrelevant issues. Your sense of being heard and seen is diminished as a result of these actions, which also weaken trust and intimacy. Do not waste any more time arguing about what a good person ought to be. Marcus Aurelius encouraged his followers, become one. When it comes to interpersonal connections, this piece of advice hits close to the heart. Having a conversation about being a good friend, partner, or family member is not enough. You need to really be one of those things. But those who are focused on themselves completely overlook this. They do not share space, rather they utilize it. When you've tried to talk about how you're feeling, have you ever found that the conversation has been taken over by someone else? If you say, I've been feeling overwhelmed lately, they might interrupt you with, oh, you think that's bad? Before you get the chance to elaborate on your feelings. Simultaneously, the moment in which you are most vulnerable becomes their stage. First things first, when someone else is looking for solace, shifting the spotlight back on yourself is not an act of empathy. Rather, it is an act of egoic behavior. Further teaching that Marcus Aurelius imparted was that one should love only what happens to you and is woven into the pattern of your destiny. In the context of romantic partnerships, this entails not just accepting your own narrative, but also sharing the narratives of people you hold dear. In one of his writings, Seneca claimed that no person is free who is not master of themselves. This individual is not a master of themselves. Rather, they are a prisoner of their own ego. They are the one who dominates every conversation. Furthermore, because these kinds of relationships are inherently one-sided, they can leave you feeling emotionally depleted. But here's a profound truth. Partnerships flourish when both parties bring something to the table. These interactions are a dance of giving and receiving, in which both parties experience being noticed, valued, and supported. If someone persistently dominates the conversation, they are disrupting the rhythm, and it is up to you to decide whether or not to continue dancing. This is the next step in your action. The next time someone interrupts your opportunity to concentrate on yourself, gently return your attention to them. Say something along the lines of, I am grateful that you shared this information with me, but I really need to discuss this right now. They will behave differently if they value you. In the event that they do not, you have gained valuable insight into the significant role that you play in their lives. 8. They don't show up when you need them. Try to recall a challenging period in your life. It's possible that you went through a bad breakup, lost your job, or had a health crisis. Who stood by your side when you needed them? Were words enough? Did they check in with you, offer assistance, or simply sit with you in silence? Consider the individuals who were noticeably absent. At this point, you probably learned more about their personality from their absence than you could have ever learned from any conversation. Getting there is not about making huge gestures, and that much is true. The expression, I am here for you no matter what, is conveyed by the little constant actions that are taken. Action rather than words was regarded as more important by the Stoics. According to a quote attributed to Seneca, it is not the person who has too little, but the person who craves more in life who is poor. People who seek your attention and support when it is convenient for them but provide nothing in return when you are the one who is in need, are the ones who are to blame for the craving. In romantic relationships, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. According to the teachings of Epictetus, when it comes to relationships, this piece of wisdom serves as a reminder that our actions define our character. It is not merely an act of compassion to be there for someone when they are in need. It is the finest demonstration of care that one can give. Let's face the facts now. Neither sunlight nor winds are guaranteed in life. In times when we are at our lowest, when we require someone to lean on, even if it is just for a kind word or an ear to listen, there are times when we need anyone. In those occasions, however, when someone who claims to care about you is nowhere to be found, what does it say about the person? On the other hand, when the storm is over and life is back to normal, they come back like clockwork. This action is not care, rather it is convenience. A quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, "What we do now echoes in eternity." It is a reflection of the person's genuine priorities. When they choose to ignore you on a regular basis and do not show up for you, you do not fall under any of those priorities. Now is the moment to ask yourself these questions. Are you making room for those who wouldn't do the same for you? You should not pursue people who only show up when it is convenient for you, since relationships are a two-way street, and it is not your duty to pursue them. The next phase in your action is as follows. Think about the individuals who are around you. Who is someone who has shown themselves to be a friend who is not picky, who has been there for you through the good times and the bad? Don't be hesitant to establish limits with people who don't show up, but give priority to those who do show up. Recognizing these habits is challenging because it compels us to confront things that are distressing to us. You have power over your mind, Marcus Aurelius emphasized in his teachings. There are individuals in your life who do not value you, and you have the ability to let go of them and make room for those who do. With any of these behaviors, let's encourage one another by sharing our opinions in the comments section. In addition, if you found this message meaningful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and send this video to someone who could benefit from hearing it. It's not as weak as you believe. You are here. Keep wise, keep nice, and guard your peace. And until we meet again, for the next time,